Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you again for joining us for another episode of Shirts and Giggles. Last week we were talking about Holy Grail shirts, the shirts we didn't have in our collection, but would love to have. If you haven't seen it already, please do go back and take a look at it. It'd be much appreciated. This week we're going to have a sort of a deeper dive into some of the brands in the collection, and we've spoken about various different brands throughout the episodes that we've done already, and I think you can probably see where we've got a nod towards certain brands or certain brands that we have a soft spot for as we go through. But today we are going to have a look at some of the manufacturers that we think do things really well, and some of them that don't. We will come on to as well. I just want to say again a big thank you to everyone who's followed us, liked and subscribed. Please do, if you like what you see, like and subscribe on YouTube. That will really help the channel, and you'll obviously get to see when the videos are out first. It is much appreciated, your support. As ever, assistant to the host, John, is with me today.
Hello.
We're just going to talk a little bit about the shirts we're wearing today.
It's a bit loud in here. Let's start with this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, and it's probably something to speak about, and this week in particular. Tor Sports is the brand, and they have been making unbelievable goalkeeper shirts for Llantwit Major for a few seasons now. This is the latest one, I believe. Might be last season's. Either way, it's a recent one, Mr. Blobby themed, and yeah, literally arrived hot off the press, so arrived just before recording this.
Yeah.
But that is what this one is, and again, I've done it in the past, but we showed a Tor Sport shirt in the special editions episode, which was another Llantwit Major goalkeeping shirt, the fish and chips one. So please do go back and have a look at that if you haven't already.
Good shirt. I like that shirt.
They've got a real track record of coming up with, I'd say, wild but interesting shirts, and ones that you'd want to get hold of once you see them. And this is no different. So yeah, Llantwit Major.
It's like a jockey shirt, and as you're 4'2", that works out quite nicely, I think, as well.
There you are, 4'3". And what about you, John?
So this is going back to West Ham, and this is I think 2013, 14, something like that. West Ham, which has got the Alpari Swiss company, I think. They went bankrupt, and then West Ham had to get a new due to something or another, and I had to get a new sponsor during this. But I think this is at the time when this was a present, and I don't really like it. And even though I do like collars on shirts, you know, I think the older I've got, the more it's grown on me over the years. So I think, you know, I like it.
I think it's amazing that you said 2013, because in my head, when you got that out a bit earlier, I was like, I was a couple of years old or something. Over 10 years old. Amazing.
Yeah, it's like, that's not going to how old we're getting.
So on a previous episode, John, you spoke about your first shirt being a feeler shirt.
Yeah.
And obviously that stuck in the memory for you. Are there any other brands, I guess, that really stick in the memory for you from your youth, or brands that you associate, I don't know, with clubs, but football in particular, that you go, yeah, that was the brand at the time?
Yeah, well, if you think back from our youth, it was like Pony, we've said before, obviously covered Southampton and West Ham shirts. And my German pronunciation again, if it like all sport.
Yeah.
How would you say it?
Llantwit Sport.
Llantwit,
but that's probably an anglified version of it.
Yeah, so I was trying there.
Yeah,
my Duolingo subscription.
Yeah, it's really coming through.
Exactly, really working.
This episode is not sponsored by Duolingo yet.
So and then Reebok, you know, used to like Bolton used to be a big one with Reebok, didn't they? I remember those from the youth as well. What other ones did we used to have?
There's surely a big one that you've missed, the huge one in the 90s.
Come on, just put me out of my misery.
Well, we're going to go onto it, so I am going to put you out of your misery. Yeah. But for me, I think the 90s as a decade was really dominated by Umbro, wasn't it? Particularly in British football. So, I mean, I think most clubs in the Premier League had an Umbro shirt at some point or another, and obviously England was Umbro. It's good actually to see it, and obviously you as a West Ham fan will be very close to it, to see Umbro making something of a comeback recently, because West Ham and Brentford both have Umbro shirts this season.
Boots as well, I'd say. They always used to be, and still are, those boots that come out. The simple Umbro boots used to be good, black boots.
So I don't know what you make of this one, but this is Oldham Athletic away shirt, 95, 96, or it might be 94, 95. But size youth as well, so look at the size of it.
You're going to be wearing that at some point?
Yeah, I think I will be before too long. But again, I just think it was an era where kit designers actually tried. Like big brand, huge brand, but they actually put some effort into the shirt. So this one is great, and I actually saw an adult version of it in Football Finery, which is a great retro football shirt shop in Cambridge recently. But thankfully I've got it myself already, and as it's a 90s shirt, even in size youth, I can fit into it.
Cycled by that shop 2 days ago.
Lovely shop.
Yeah, it was 7 in the morning, so it wasn't late.
Do go in at some point. And you mentioned ponies, so again, what a shirt that is. Pony, again, Oldham Athletic, home shirt, and this was later 90s, so I think this is 97, 98. But again, I mean, actually, the Oldham fans weren't particularly keen on this shirt because it sort of went away too much from their traditional royal blue and white, royal blue and orange colours. So there's a bit too much red in it. But I love it, the big badge, again, the collar that you talk about. Very itchy, that collar, by the way.
What sort of owl is that on the crest?
You'll have to watch my other podcast, Owls with Andi, to find out. That's on next week's episode. I mean, probably barn, tawny, they're the main ones that I know.
I could guess, but I thought you might know.
I'm not an expert. But yeah, Pony, great brand from the 90s. And I love the sort of energy and vibrancy that they put into their shirts. And this is one of them. And again, this is a size S. Fits me comfortably, and I love that. I absolutely love that. There's a lot to be said for that. So, wouldn't it be great? Do you think it will ever happen? Pony making a comeback? Wouldn't that be great?
It's a dream.
It's the dream. It's a dream that we all aspire to. I want to talk actually a bit about brands that don't do so well, and for me, and I have spoken about it quite a bit recently. The bigger brands. I just think they're really poor. The Pumas, the Nikes, the Adidas of this world, where effectively, if you're not Manchester United or Liverpool or a huge club, then you're getting the catalogue shirt. So, and a good example of that is this Southampton away shirt, Adidas, a few years ago when we were actually good. The sort of Adam Lallana, Dejan Lovren sort of years, even a certain Virgil van Dijk. Was playing for us. Now, on paper, that looks like a nice enough shirt, and maybe it is, until you consider that there was also a team playing in my Sunday league at the time who had exactly the same shirt, and it just feels wrong to me, particularly, and we've spoken about this in the past, when you're getting charged 60 or 70 quid for this, and actually, if you open up the Adidas catalogue at page 28, it's in there for 28 quid. And all it is the embroidery on it and the printing that makes it more than what it is. So I just think a lot of the big brands just phoning it in, basically. There is some design that goes into it, but they're not really putting the effort in.
What sort of tree is that on the badge?
You'll have to watch my other podcast, Horticulture with Andi.
Just wondering if there's an owl in there.
I don't believe that barn owls actually sit in trees like that. I'm going to say an oak.
Okay, it looked like an oak to me, but
But I mean, is there any excuse for if you're Adidas or Nike, is there any excuse for laziness, industrial scale laziness like that?
Well, the only answer is no that you'd accept. But I do agree, why? But then I think, do we understand the process of designing these shirts? Who sits down? Is it, the kit man that sits down with Adidas and say, we'll have that? Who's involved in that decision-making process? I think we need to go to the root cause.
Okay, we'll go... On next week's show, we'll be on location in Germany at the Adidas factory, asking these sorts of questions on location.
But Duolingo will come into
their silence
they'll speak
speaks volumes. I did again. We to cover old ground again. Fans often get put last, but I think when you are releasing 4 or 5 shirts a season and you've put zero effort into releasing them.
Yeah.
It really does exploit that sort of we're just here to make money vibe. And I think certainly with those bigger brands, and I think probably Adidas are slightly better than Nike actually. They really are the 2 worst culprits. Even your Manchester United shirts of the world, where they're bringing out 4 or 5 a season, you know, how different is last season's to this season?
Yeah.
And I just think it's poor, really. That said, there are some brands that are getting it right.
Yeah.
So I wanted to highlight a few brands that I've got in my collection that I do really like, and I guess almost in a 3, 2, 1 countdown. But one brand that I absolutely love, and I've got a couple of shirts here from them, an Italian brand, Errea, I think it's pronounced. And they've done Cowdenbeath for a few years, which is my Scottish team. So I've got a few Errea shirts, but they're just nice. They you know, obviously Cowdenbeath for a small team with a small following, but they put some effort into the shirt. It looks nice. It fits nicely when I'm not too large, but it's actually nicely fitted and it's well made. And I really like this shirt. And I've got, this was the home shirt, and the away shirt that year was this one. Again, we spoke in the last episode about how I like yellow and blue colourways.
Yeah.
This was a lovely yellow and blue shirt, and the collar and everything about it. It just shows that a bit of effort's gone into it. That you can't take away from. Again, even at the scale of the club we're talking about, small club, but a bit of effort's gone in, and big respect to Errea for that. And those shirts do fit really nicely. Next brand I'm going to talk about that I think still do really well is Hummel, which again I think another one from the 90s, huge in the 90s. And I really associate obviously Hummel with Southampton, but also with the Danish national team. They are a Danish brand, and I think Denmark wearing a kit that's not Hummel is wrong on so many levels. But they've also done Southampton in recent years, and I've got a nice, this was Southampton's away shirt from last season, the shirt we wore at Wembley when we won the playoffs. What a horrible day that turned out to be in the end, because it led to this season. But again, it's not a catalogue shirt. Something has gone into it, the design wise. There's the tree from the Southampton, the mystery tree from the Southampton badge, which we're not sure what it is.
It looks like something you put on the side of a battleship, so a U-boat can't, torpedo it. That's that sort of. Right.
Which wouldn't be the best shirt for Southampton to wear, famously, because they are by the sea, and Manchester United in the 90s, of course, had to change their shirts at half time because they were getting pumped by Southampton, and it was all due to their grey shirts.
Yeah, that's a good story.
Because we were playing that game at sea, of course.
But no, this is nice, good design. Nice.
Fits nicely. I love it. Again, I love a long sleeve shirt, so this one's really nice. And that's from last season. We'll carry on.
Yeah.
Then we've got another Hummel shirt, Oldham Athletic, another club of mine. This one, fairly simple shirt, but again, I love the little touches. So we've got a little bit in the collar here, picture of Boundary Park. Just little individual touches that you don't get on the bigger brands. And again, Oldham.
The badges are kind of embossed on there, isn't it?
Oldham breaks my heart to say it. A non-league club now, but they still had a little bit of time on their shirt for them, and that's great to see. And they've gone to Puma these days, so they obviously don't appreciate it.
Yeah.
And finally, and I've spoken about it, we've got another guest on the show today, by the way. It looks like Charlie's been let in, but we'll carry on and pretend she's not there. She might jump up every now and again.
Her breath does smell as well.
It's all a good bit of fun. But probably my favourite brand, certainly my favourite brand in a modern context, is Macron. And I've got a few options here from Macron. This is a Cambridge City shirt from recent years.
That's a good shirt.
I love it. Love it. Fits nicely. They've obviously put a bit of effort. It probably is a catalogue shirt actually, but even those catalogue shirts feel like they've had a bit more design put into them, and this is a great one. And thankfully, my Polish club, probably the club I follow most closely is a Macron club now, Lech Poznan. So that's our home shirt from the other year. We've got Ishak, the captain, on the back, the goal scorer. But I just, again, the fit, the design, everything about it's got little details. We've got the 100 under the badge from our 100-year centenary. So this must have been the shirt we won the league in the other year. Shame about, and we will come on to it, this is another subject matter actually, sponsors, because to some extent or another, the big betting sponsor in the middle ruins it. But again, a great example, and I've got just the final one here is my Dutch club, sporting club here in Bain. And again, just nice little design, everything about it screams classy, nice.
Classic, stripes as well, like, a Sheffield Wednesday in the old days, that's what, and now, sorry. But yeah, that's what I like.
So do you think that, because, I mean, I know a lot of people consider Macron, Errea, whoever, smaller brands, but if you look in the Premier League now, a good percentage of the Premier League, and particularly the Football League as well, are using Macron, for example, has seen a huge proliferation of Macron in the last few years. Do you think they're winning that battle because they are actually trying, they are doing things for clubs rather than just the standard, here's the catalogue pose, here's the catalogue shirt? Do you feel like maybe as discerning customers, we want something a bit more personalised to our club? Yeah,
certainly, I'd agree. And like I say, is it a classic, like the big sponsors like Adidas, just pump something out, they're going to buy it anyway, is there any need to put any effort in because you're going to have X amount of sales no matter what, isn't it? So yeah, it's good to see, especially in the lower clubs as well, isn't it, where they're building, they're bringing these shirts in, they're, like you say, putting the effort in, apparently. Hopefully it's a resurgence, a renaissance of our 90s kind of shirts. They'll build on it.
Yeah, I really hope so, and it's great to see these brands doing well because I've long spoken of my admiration for Macron, and I think at all levels now, right from the Premier League down to Parks Football, you're seeing clubs wear their shirts, and they are great, and they're really good technically as well, so really good for wearing. I did also want to mention, I mentioned Tor Sports at the start, but another smaller brand, Playr-Fit. I recently got a Ballymena United away shirt. And again, small club, Northern Irish Premier League, but nonetheless, in terms of following, I guess, would be considered quite small. And they've got a lovely, like personalised shirt almost that isn't just your standard lob it out, try and sell as many as we can. So what is it that you think makes a good shirt manufacturer in your eyes? What are the 3 or 4 things that you go, that makes them better than them? I know what I think.
Well, start with you then. Come on, let's hit. What are you thinking?
So for me, it's creativity.
Yeah.
I want to see a different shirt from season to season, and I know clubs are constrained by what their traditional colours are, but some creativity within it made it looking like you've actually made some effort to put a kit
Are we
together.
saying season on season, or are we saying it should be every 2 seasons or something to save shelling out?
Yeah, I mean, that's down to the club, really. Ideally, it would be every 2 seasons. We've spoken about that as well. But whatever you do with that change, whenever it happens, actually make it something noticeable rather than just,
a rehash,
a slightly darker red or this, that or the other. And you know when you get the press release as well and it's really sold up and you're like, honestly, who's falling for this stuff? I also think just that understanding of a club, a connection with a club, rather than, again, I spoke about that Adidas Southampton one where that isn't designed for Southampton. That's designed generally. So that, have we understood the club? Are there things, the Hummel shirt that I showed with Southampton, bringing out the badge, and Hummel also did an away shirt, which actually not everyone liked, but it was like a nod to the sea as well, because obviously Southampton next to the sea.
West Ham with bubbles, they've had some bubbles on their shirts over the years, just that little bit of artistic license in there.
And also just the quality of the shirts. I think, some of them smaller brands, and this is where I love Macron so much, because when you put a shirt on from them, it does feel like it's a quality shirt rather than just again, lobbed out the door. And we spoke on the fake shirts episode about, we spoke about the ethics, I suppose, of fake shirts, but some of those fake shirts, when compared against the actual real version of it, with the big brands, they feel almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with Macron, actually, when you put one on, you realise that it's a real one as opposed to a fake one. So that is definitely true. And I guess the last thing for me would be, and this is nice to have because I think the market drives it, but affordability as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So again, I speak at smaller brands, Tor Sport and Playr-Fit. Their shirts were £40 rather than the sort of £60 that you're talking about.
But then would that transfer? So say if Macron did a West Ham shirt or a Southampton shirt or a Man United shirt, would they still be charging 40 quid? Probably not. They'd be charging 90 quid, 100 quid.
No, and I think actually that's the one thing that does count against Macron because their shirts are quite expensive at the top level. Even at Cambridge City this year, and they did have a special edition shirt, but that was over 50 quid this year. So it's not as clear cut as that, but it would be great.
But the quality's there. That's what you say.
Yeah. And most importantly, I just think as a brand, you've got to show that you still care. You're not ringing it in, basically. You're not going, lobbing it out, that'll do, stack them high, sell them, not cheap. But do you know what I mean? Just lob them in, get them out the door, and let's rinse people for as much as we can. That, for me, that's a big yes as well, and a big plus in the box. We're going to pretty much finish there, but I do want to ask you as well, what are the brands? We've had a whistle-stop tour really of 6 or 7 brands there, and I've tried to call out some of the ones I really like. I obviously would have missed a few. There's others that are coming close, actually. There's quite a few that I've got that I think I really like their shirts that I've got. Do the big brands need to pull up their socks a bit and look at upping their game? Are they giving us a fair deal with what they're doing? And are there other brands that I haven't mentioned that you say they make absolute classics? If they do, please do comment below and let us know what you think about it. Next week, I think we're undecided on what we're going to do next week, but we will be back in a week's time with some more content. In the meantime, please do get on the socials. So on Instagram, we are at Shirts and Giggles UK. And on Facebook, we're at Shirts and Giggles. So there is content on there every day of the week. So if you want your shirts fixed throughout the week, please do get on there and follow us and give us any likes and get involved in the conversation. For now, we're going to say goodbye. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.